I like to move around. I'm a little nervous. This is the first time I've ever done this. Mistaken Identity is my first book, so I'm really excited to be invited here to talk to you all about it and kind of give you a little bit of history. I will be reading a few passages from the book. I am currently working on a second one. I'm having to do a series with our main characters and looking at some other projects along the way. I am married. My husband, Vern, is here with me today. I have two grown children. My daughter lives in Hayes with me. She is married and has two grandkids. And Jacob is going to be 11 next month, and Kimberly is 7. My son is a chiropractor and lives in Kansas City, so we don't get to see him as much, but we get down there. It always gives us a good reason to travel down I-70 and take a little trip on the weekends. I know a lot of people say, well, how did you get into writing? Did you always do this? Actually, through school and stuff, I never really was into writing that much. Probably about 25 years ago, my friend and I, we had read romance novels, and we always thought, oh, we can do that. So we wanted, to sit down and write a romance novel. Got it completed. We had submitted it. We got one rejection, and we really didn't pursue it after that. We thought, they want money, this type of thing, and so we never did pursue it. And that is what kind of prompted me to go ahead and start with my writing. At that time, I did write a book. I completed it, but did not feel that it was up to snuff, that it was good enough to be published. So I thought a little way. Probably 10, maybe 15 years later, I don't know, thought hit me, I dug it out and looked at it again, kind of revised it, and still didn't feel like it was good enough. The third time was probably about 4 years ago when I took it out again and the new things that I had started writing and decided I was going to do it this time. That's from some of the main characters were from that original book. Emily and Liz and Lee, that they were from the original book. And I just kind of reworked it again and the last couple of years and decided that I was ready to have it published. I felt like I had grown enough over the years with my writing and everything that I was just going to go for it. I'm going to be 60 this year, and I just thought, sometimes it's better late than never again. And I guess my thing I tell people is, if you've got something on the background, writing, whatever, and just go for it. Take a chance. You never know what will happen. I'm really pleased with the outcome of my book. My characters, I feel, have matured and grown with me in my writing, and I've just really been enjoying it a lot. I'm working on a second one in the series. It's called Painted Lady, and I hope to have that, at least the rough draft, completed by the end of the year. I'm not an author full-time. I do work outside the home, so kind of have to adjust things with your writing and stuff in order to do that. But I have been working on it, and I do enjoy it. It's interesting where some of the inspirations come from. When I did Mistaken Identity, I had that old book that I went from. But as I was writing, it's amazing. I always heard, let your characters take you where you want to go. And, I never really thought much about that, but that is so true. You start writing and your characters are you're writing in one area and something will come to you that thinks, okay, that sounds good. Or some of the other characters in the book that you eventually bring in. You know, it's from something that one of the main characters was doing, and it just seemed natural to have a person come in and a new person be brought into the book. I have, like I said, the three main characters from the original book were Emily Jansen, Liz Marshall, and Lee Masters. And but all the other characters are just some that have developed over the time that I was writing it. Sometimes I start out with a character in one sense, and as you're writing along, that think, oh, why don't we do it this way? Or it just evolves into something a little different, or a growing of that character. But it's something I really do enjoy, and it is what I want to say. You know, where the book and the characters kind of lead you where you need to be with the writing and everything. As I said, the main characters in the book are Emily Jansen and Liz Marshall. I'll read you an excerpt from the back, and then I will read some of a couple of different things from the book also. Emily is excited at the prospect of spending the summer with her friend Liz. Their plan is to begin remodeling the old Victorian house that Liz just bought in a small Kansas town. Emily plans to take a drastic turn when she arrives in Kansas, only to discover Liz's dead body. The police call it suicide, but Emily knows that Liz would never kill herself, despite the suicide note found by police. If Liz didn't kill herself, it would mean she was murdered. Who would do such a thing, and why? Even though she is scared and alone, Emily is undaunted in her effort to find the truth. As she searches for clues, Emily runs headlong into Lee Masters, Hampton's most notorious, arrogant, and wealthy citizen. Lee takes great joy at thwarting her every move. Emily realizes she needs help, but who can she trust? She doesn't know where to turn. Could her friend's death be a case of mistaken identity? I decided that I would use a fictional town in Kansas. I figured that way, you know, it's a combination of the small towns, and if you say something, say something a little different than what the town is, and people are going to know that right away. That's not the way it was. So it was easier to just go with a fictitious town, and I wanted it to take place in Kansas. That's where I'm from. That's where I grew up, and so that's why I just came up with the name Hampton. I guess you could say it's a combination. I grew up in Victoria. I live in Hayes. Probably a combination of all the small towns around there, and just different things like that. But let me just read you first here a little bit from the first chapter, when Emily first gets into stopping by Liz. Turning on the light, she discovered that it was Liz's darkroom. There were some trays with some kind of solution in them, and several pictures hanging to dry. After going back out to the entry, Emily walked down the hall toward the back of the house. She came to the kitchen, which was as neat as a pin. Things just didn't feel right. Back at the bottom of the stairs, she decided to check out the second and third floors. Maybe Liz was in one of the back rooms and didn't hear her call. The creak of the first step unnerved her. It shattered the silence and seemed to reverberate throughout the house. Emily's heart began to pound. Something was terribly wrong. She paused on the landing. She called out again, "Liz, if this is your idea of a joke, it's not funny." She waited, hoping that Liz would appear at the top of the stairs laughing. There was absolutely no sound coming from the floor above. Taking a deep breath, Emily continued up to the second floor. At the top, she peered down the hallway where there were 4 rooms. Walking down the hall, she looked into the rooms one at a time. Most of the rooms had boxes and other items stored in them. Upon reaching the room at the end of the hall, Emily slowly opened the door. Liz was lying on the bed. "Didn't you hear me call?" Emily said as she entered the room. Not getting a response, she rushed over to the bed. "Liz, wake up," Emily said, shaking her. She could feel panic begin to swell up inside her. Taking a deep breath, she worked to calm herself down. The first thing was to check for a pulse. Not finding any, Emily picked up the phone by the bed to call 911. This is, with Emily, this has been something that they've been planning to do for years. They both have busy careers, and this was the first time she was able to get it back into seeing her friend Liz, who had just bought this brand new Victorian house. So, she was very excited to be going there, and is crushed to find her friend supposedly committing suicide. And that's why she's very adamant about not believing that she had killed herself, even though the police had come up with a note. Excuse me. And if you have questions or any comments, just go ahead and raise your hand, and I'll take them at any time. It doesn't matter. Okay, let me read you a little something else through here. This is at the beginning of chapter 3. Emily woke with a start when she felt something cover her mouth. She wasn't sure if this was a part of her dream about Liz or if it was real. After a couple of seconds passed, she realized she was definitely awake, and someone was in her room with their hand over her mouth. She couldn't scream even though she wanted to. She didn't struggle. She kept very still and tried to make out the dark figure, but was unable to focus. And I'm not going to read any more of that. Let you guys guessing here and looking into the book, because I don't want to give anything away. But I guess, like I said, this is my very first time, so bear with me if I repeat myself and things. But I really, like I said, I really enjoyed working on this book the last time, and felt like I had grown in my writing and my characters had grown, and it just seemed more natural to go ahead and do this. I did work with strategic books, and it's not self-publishing. We kind of work together. You pay part and they pay part until you reach a certain number of books sold. But they have been a very good group to work with. They've been very helpful, and I just have really enjoyed it, even though I probably never talked to them on the phone. We did a lot by email. That's how most of the communication was, is through emails. And they have worked with me to take my book to different book fairs that they have, the international markets. I don't know, they were just at Bangkok, I believe, but I haven't heard anything back. That one just kind of got over, so I don't know. They tried to sell the rights of the author's books to them, to the foreign markets to help with their sales. Like I said, they do a lot of different things to help with their sales. If somebody would be interested, it would be nice to have one of the big book companies, to publish your book. But when you're a first-time author, it's very slim to even get them to write it. I mean, I think of J.K. Rowling, who all her Harry Potter books, where she was rejected at least once, before and actually it was the secretary that picked up the book and read it and said, hey, look, I think you need to read this. So just to have it out there and published, it's great, and for them to work with you. There are a lot of different ones out there, so if anybody's thinking of it, are you thinking of it?
No, I'm just so impressed that this started out as like a little romance. I mean, with you and your friends. I mean, this is how it grew. This is how you grew, and then you said you grew and matured. I just think it's so fortunate that you thought out, after 10 years going back and looking at what you've done originally.
Yeah.
And now it wasn't
well, actually, this is different from the romance. I had written one after that, and this is what involved it. That's what started it. And I don't know, I'm not even sure whatever would come back into my head and think, oh, why don't you dig that out and look at it again? Because I did that about 2 or 3 times over the last 25 years after I wrote that first one. I mean, the first one, it was before I had my computer typing it out like you do on the typewriter. But I do. I feel like as I matured, my writing seemed to get better, and I just enjoyed it more. I mean, I enjoyed it then, but really enjoyed it a lot more, and it's kind of escape. But driving it down the highway, I said, I don't need to look at a magazine. I'll look outside, and things will be going through my head, and think, oh, I can use that, or oh, I can use this, and why don't I go this direction with my characters? And it is a lot of fun to do that. And I just, like I said, I just encourage anybody who is thinking about doing anything, or has some ideas, or has done something in the past, dig it out and look at it, and it's never too late. I just think it really, with more things going on and everything, it gets a lot better. I'll read you one more passage from the book.
You mentioned that you're employed outside the home. What do you do in your day job?
My day job, I am a cook at Holy Family Elementary School in Hayes. It's kind of, I used to work as an office manager at St. John's in Hayes, and then they merged with Victoria and Hayes and only needed one office manager. So I work at Holy Family. I really like it. I love the people I work with. I love the kids. And it makes it kind of nice because of the time off you have. So I can, this summer I can devote myself to a lot of writing.
If there's a second printing, you need a signature.
Yes. I mean, actually what this is print on demand. So when somebody orders a book, like I've had a book signing at Hastings, and they will order the books, and then they print them as they're ordered. So there's not a lot of books on hand at a time, but it doesn't take long. It just takes a couple weeks to get them. You can also get them. It's on BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com, where you can also order the books. But Hastings, I've worked with them, and they've been really good for me and with me to get my book signing and everything done here. So I've been real pleased.
Have you traveled out of the state to book signings?
I haven't, but I'm always open to things. Anything I can do, like I said, this is the first one, and this is really the first thing that I've done in another community, but I'm always open to anything. I just think anything I can do, I enjoy it, and I would be happy to get it out there any way I can, so always open to it. Okay, I'm going to read you another passage. This is a little bit later in the book. Hearing the doorbell, Emily wiped her hands on the towel and turned the burner off under the sauce. She figured it was probably Jack checking up on her. "Hi," she said cheerfully as she opened the front door, stopping short of saying anything further when she realized it wasn't Jack. "Hello." Seeing the look on her face, Lee remarked, "I gather that cheerful hi was not for me." "You're right, it wasn't. I thought you were someone else." "What do you want?" Emily stepped outside on the porch and closed the door behind her. "I came with an offer." Lee walked over and leaned against the porch railing, crossing his arms in front of him. "I'm really not interested in any offer you might have." Emily leaned against the house and crossed her arms in front of her. "Now, that's not very neighborly of you. You could at least hear me out." Emily could see that Lee was trying to remain civil, but she could see his eyes begin to narrow. "You're not my neighbor, so I don't feel I have to be neighborly, but I will listen to your offer." She didn't want to provoke him too much at the moment. "So what is it?" Lee stood up and moved closer to Emily. "I would like to buy this house." He stood just a foot away from her, towering over her. Emily said a silent prayer and relied on everything she had inside her to stand up straight and look him in the eye. She wasn't going to let him know how much he really frightened her. "I'm sorry, Lee, but the house is not for sale." "What do you want with this thing? You don't even live here." Lee clenched his fists together, trying not to make a scene. "No one tells him no." "I don't have any say about selling this house." "Did Liz leave you this house? I know her lawyer was here to see you." Emily was surprised and angry by what he just said. "So you have been spying on me? Are you keeping track of who comes to see me? You have a lot of nerve." She restrained herself from slapping his face. "Look, you're not from here, but everyone knows that I do as I please in this town, and no one crosses me." Lee took a step closer to Emily. I'll leave that.
This is the Victorian house, right?
What's that?
Is this still the Victorian house that you mentioned?
Yes. This is she is staying at her friend's the Victorian house in that chapter. Yes. So, yes. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I know I have longer time, but yes.
When you were ready to continue rewriting or redrafting, did the company help you know what you should work on, or did you?
Did
the publisher? Or did you do it make your own decisions?
Actually, the reworking and stuff was before I had a publisher. So, there were just things, I read the book now and think, oh, I should have done this or that. You know, in your mind it's never done. And sometimes you just have to say, okay, this is it. And I'm not going to make any more changes.
It's a wonderful cover. Now, did you pick that out?
They gave me, I told them what I was interested in, and then they gave me several choices. And some of them I really rejected, saying, no, this is not what this is about. But yeah, they worked with me, and they would email me the different covers and stuff, and I was able to kind of tell them what I had. I'm sorry, did you have a question, ma'am?
Yes, did you use any real places at all?
I'm going to come over here because I don't hear very well. I have my age, so I don't always work well.
Did you use any real places?
No, I think I would probably take off of things that I had seen or places I had been, different things, but all of them are not, I did not want to use any of the real places, simply because of, sometimes it's copyright things, sometimes it's other things, but in the book it's mostly like Hampton and I'm getting the other book in there to check what's in the other book. But it's mainly with Hampton and just different things around there. Some of the things may have been from, memory of something else, and that's what I did.
So if you put the name of the restaurant in, should you use a fake one?
I use a fake one in all of them, or not anything like that. Any time I did anything, I didn't use a real name. The description you may kind of get an idea of what it was, who it was, or what it was, but mostly it was just. And I would vary things even in the description. I didn't want to have to be under anything. Oh, it was that or that type of thing.
Is this available as an ebook, and how does the ebook market work with your publisher?
Actually, we're working on the ebook and the Kindle part right now. It isn't currently available. You can go to either the website here, or you can, you can order it through Amazon.com. But if you want it for your Kindle, I'm still working on that to get that out on the Kindle and the ebook.
How does that work with your publisher? Does your publisher help you do that?
Yes. Yeah, they help with all of that to get that going and stuff.
Tell us the name of your new book.
The name of my new book is The Painted Lady, and it will be, again, revolving around the Victorian house, the Brent's Victorian house.
So will it be a sequel or just something, will it be like a sequel or?
It's just going to be kind of like a series, using some of the main characters from this book, and I will be using those in the new book. It's kind of a series. I have this one, and then I have a couple more book ideas for at least two more. And then maybe some other things. I'm sorry?
Who are you writing for? Is this for adults or for?
Adults, yes. This is an adult murder mystery.
So you have sex and violence?
Violence, no sex, I'm sorry. It's pretty conservative. A little bit of violence, yeah, but violence, but kind of didn't dwell into the other part of it on this one at all.
That's the only way some of us hold women kids.
It's entertaining, though. And as I said, you can get it at, if you want to order it online, you can get it at Amazon.com, and BarnesandNoble.com. I am also doing a fundraiser where you can also get the book on that website. It's in honor of my nephew who passed away, who was a scout. And we are currently doing a fundraiser for that. We're raising money for scholarship for someone that was in scouting, at least an Eagle Scout or above. I think it's to 4 days, and then also to, I guess you could kind of say a scholarship program also for the younger boys that would like to go to camp or the jamboree or anything like that but can't afford to. They would be able to use that. Contact the people from the fund and be able to get money to go to camp and things like that. So that's also on the bbscout.org where you can order that, and then have the proceeds from the book sale go to the other fund. So that's sort of places. Any other questions? I do have some books here for sale if you are interested in that. I would be happy to help you with that and sign any of them. I don't know. Like I said, I know Hastings has them, and any place online. Any other questions?
Do you get, well, I guess you get royalties from Amazon, but if people buy them from you, do you get more money if they buy them?
Yes, because I have purchased them, and I can purchase them at a certain rate, and then.
Any other questions? You have some.
I think I'm done. I know I have to kind of. I'm not long-winded.
That's amazing to have a short-winded author. We've had several long-winded authors this week, so maybe they'll be appreciative to be done a little early. And we just want to say thank you with a thank you note, and we want to give you our Pioneer Memorial mug and cube that says Master Reading as a memento. So the next time you start writing your book, you can fill it up and get inspired so you can come back and talk to us. Thank you very much.